Hello all. So today we are going to see about the exceptions to the law of demand and perverse demand curves. On the first, we have Veblen effect. Thorstein Veblen, in his doctrine of conspicuous consumption, has pointed out that there are some goods which are purchased not for their intrinsic worth, but for their snob appeal or prestige value. Veblen calls this type of consumption as conspicuous consumption, and these articles are demanded by very rich people for their social prestige as articles of ostentation. When prices of such goods rise, their use become more attractive and they are purchased in larger quantities. For example, if butter becomes more costly, the rich will buy more of it just to show that they are rich enough to afford it. Demand for diamonds from the richer class will go up if there is increase in price. If such goods were cheaper, the rich would not even purchase it. In commodities having status symbol or prestige, because of the conspicuous consumption, more will be demanded at a higher price and less will be demanded at a low price. This is one of the exceptions of the law of demand. Conspicuousness was in existence since ages. In 75 BCE, a band of Sicilian pirates in the Aegean Sea captured Julius Caesar. The capture was a minor inconvenience for Caesar, but he took the chance to prove his worthiness. From the start, Caesar refused to behave like a captive. When the pirates told him that they had set his ransom at the sum of 20 talents, approximately 620 kilogram of silver, he mocked at them for not knowing whom they had captured and suggested that 50 talents, that is 1,550 kilogram of silver, would be a more appropriate amount. He then sent his followers out to gather the money and settled in for a period of captivity. The pirates were dumbfounded. A hostage rarely negotiates his ransom. The task took 38 days. Once he was freed, Caesar managed to quickly raise a small fleet which he took back to the island where he had been held captive. He captured and killed them and took back his 50 talents of silver along with all their possessions. Thus, in 75 BCE, Caesar created a Veblen effect. On moving on, we have speculative effect. In the speculative market, when people deal in stocks and shares, buy and sell securities to make profit, the law of demand in the general sense may not apply. They will buy more and more shares when their prices are rising in anticipation of further rise. When prices fall, they wait for further fall and stop buying. The same thing may happen in any commodity which are dealt in speculative markets, but it's a short phenomenon. Speculative effect has benefits and negative effects too. Consists of economic benefits and economic risk and individual risks. So on moving on, we have Giffen effect. Giffen effect or Giffen paradox. Sir Robert Giffen discovered that the poor people will demand more of inferior goods if their prices rise and demand less if their prices fall. In the 19th century Ireland, Giffen found that people are so poor that they spend the majority parts of their income on potatoes and only a small part on meat. When the price of potato rose, they had to economize on meat. To fill up the resulting gap, more potatoes had to be purchased. Thus, rise in the price of potatoes led to the increased sales of potatoes. This is what is called as Giffen paradox. Poor people consuming large amount of inferior cereals will find their real money income falling whenever there is a rise in price of their inferior goods. Hence, they will reduce the expenditure on other superior items, conserve their little income, and demand more of their inferior commodity. Hence, given goods means inferior goods. In these cases, the law of demand has an exception. Understanding given goods. Given goods are a rarity in economics because supply and demand for these goods are opposite of standard conventions. Given goods can be the result of multiple market variables including supply, demand, price, income, and substitution. All of these variables are central to the basic theories of supply and demand economics. Examples of given goods are a study in the effects of these variables on low income, non luxury goods, which result in an upward sloping demand curve. So let's see about the key takeaways. A given good is a low income, non luxury product for which demand increases as the price increases and vice versa. A given good has an upward sloping demand curve, which is contrary to the fundamental laws of demand, which are based on downward sloping demand curve. Demand for given goods is heavily influenced by a lack of close substitutes and income pressures. Veblen goods are similar to given goods but with a focus on luxury items. Let's also see the difference between given goods and Veblen goods. Both given goods and Veblen goods are non ordinary goods that defy standard supply and demand conventions. With both given and Veblen goods, a product's demand curve is upward sloping. Income and substitution are key factors in explaining the economic tricks of the upward sloping demand curve for given goods as discussed. Veblen goods also have an upward sloping demand curve but with some slightly different influences. Veblen goods are premium product luxury goods. Example can include celebrity endorsed perfumes or fine wines. With these goods, their high price is associated with a high social status symbol. As such, high income consumers find these goods more desirable at a higher price. The income effect has a little impact on these goods because income is not a factor. Substitution is also a minimal factor because the goods are generally status symbol and not cross dimensional. On moving on, we have scarcity, inflation, price solution, and etc. The law of demand will operate in times of acute scarcity and shortage of commodities. During this period, in spite of increasing prices, people will rush to buy, fearing non availability of goods. In the cases of necessaries, also, people will buy more in the event of increasing price. When a country is in hyperinflation, people will be increasing their demand, fearing that the prices would go up still further. Law will not operate in the goods where quality is judged by the price. Some consumers will be deluded by the price under the notion that high priced articles are superior and low priced articles are inferior. Due to this price delusion, people will demand more of the commodity if the price increases. This holds good in cases of fancy and fashion articles like lipsticks, creams, powders, and other articles of personal attraction. Professor Benham mentions the case of a book of photographs published before the First World War at a low price. The book had a very poor demand. When the price was increased considerably after the war, the book had a very good demand. This is only an exceptional case. So that's all for this topic. Thank you for watching.